Hola a todos, hoy vamos a ver los significados de las preposiciones por y para cuando se usan con el verbo estar. So today we're going to look at the differences in the meanings of por and para when they are combined with the verb estar. Now these are what we call verbal periphrases, because they consist of two verbs which carry a specific meaning. So usually the first verb is conjugated while the second verb takes on an impersonal form, and that impersonal form could be an infinitive, a participle, or a gerund. Okay? So estar por, estar para. Alright? And before I continue, you will be able to access the video that I would have uploaded on the differences between por and para in the description. Okay? So be sure to check that out. Now, por and para can be combined with the verb estar to produce specific meanings. Right. That would be an explanation of a verbal periphrasis, right? So let's start with por and estar. And the basic structure is going to be estar por followed by the infinitive of the verb, okay? So what does this mean? When por is combined with estar, it translates as to be about to. In other words, estar a punto de followed by the infinitive. So it means that an action is imminent. It is about to happen, right? So when we say estar por followed by the infinitive of the verb, we are saying that that action is about to take place, right? For example, yo estaba por estudiar. I was about to study. I could also say, yo estaba a punto de estudiar. Same thing, right? Likewise, los niños están por salir. The children are about to go out. I could say, los niños están a punto de salir. So in this case, por, estar por followed by the infinitive means to be about to. It describes or it talks about an action which is imminent. And a synonym of this structure would be estar a punto de followed by the infinitive of the verb. So that's the first context in which we use estar por followed by the infinitive. The second context, it can also be used with an action that is outstanding, right? So you would have seen that in this example, we use it with persons, right? Because we're talking about an action that that person is about to accomplish or is about to perform, right? I mean, we don't necessarily always have to use people, right? But this second usage is more related to things or objects, more so than this one, right? Let me not say that this is restricted to people, but it is mostly going to be with persons. But this second usage is going to be primarily used with things or objects, right? Because it talks about an action which needs to be performed on an object or a thing, right? The action is outstanding, meaning that it needs to be done, right? So that's what we mean by outstanding. If an action is outstanding, that means that it needs to be done, or it has not been done yet, or it has yet to be done, right? El suelo está por fregar. The floor needs to be scrubbed. So in this case, it would translate as needs to be, because that structure conveys that the action is outstanding. So you don't have to literally translate it, but as long as your translation conveys that the action is outstanding, it will be correct. And the easiest way to do that would be needs to be. So the floor needs to be scrubbed. El suelo está por fregar. La basura está por sacar. The garbage needs to be taken out. Yep. So with this usage, we have the object or the thing, and the action that follows is supposed to be performed on that particular object or thing, right? So this is why I made a distinction between these two, because in this case, the verb, right, is not being in this case, the students, not the students, the persons or the subjects perform the action are the ones that will perform the action. But in this case, the action is going to be performed on the subject. So it is different. I think that's what it meant to say, rather than making a distinction between persons and or things. I think that's what it meant to say. Because if I say la basura está por sacar, la basura is not performing the action. The action is actually going to be performed on the garbage, la basura, right? So this is the second usage of estar por. Now there is a third usage, and this usage is going to relate to Spain, right? And what you'll notice when we get to estar para is that these constructions can vary in meaning depending on where you are in the Spanish-speaking world. So I would have told you that estar por followed by the infinitive is used for imminent actions and for actions that are outstanding. But the third usage that I am about to reveal to you is actually only used in Spain. And that usage is going to be to talk about desires, okay? So if you, desires. So if you want to talk about what you feel like doing, you could say estar por use estar por followed by the infinitive. And in this context, it will be a synonym. Tener ganas de would be a synonym. Synonym, yes. A similar construction, tener ganas de. So for example, yo estoy por dormir, right? Yo estoy por dormir means I feel like sleeping. I could also say tengo ganas de dormir. I feel like sleeping. So estar por más, or, more, not más, or plus, the infinitive means to feel like. But that is limited to Spain. That's how it is used in Spain, all right? But in the other countries, another structure is used, which we'll get to. So those are the three uses of estar por followed by the infinitive. So let's move on to estar para. So when para is combined with estar, there can be a variety of meanings. In the affirmative, an objective is expressed. So in the affirmative, so when the sentence is positive, when it is not negative, we use it to talk about an objective. right? Marcos está para trabajar. Marcos is here to work. That is his purpose. That's the reason why he is here, right? Los maestros están para enseñar. Teachers are here to teach. That's their purpose, right? So we use estar para with the infinitive to express an objective, right? Once again, I must return to the difference in location. In Spain, estar para can be used to talk about an imminent action. So, estar por. Estar por when estar por is used to describe an imminent action, this usage relates to Latin America, right? But estar para with an imminent action relates to Spain. So estar para can also be used to talk about an imminent action, but that is limited to Spain. So el tren está para salir. The train is about to leave. So that means that both expressions can be used to talk about imminent actions, but the one you choose or the one that you hear will depend on your location. So bear that in mind. So let's continue with our analysis of estar para followed by the infinitive. Let's continue our analysis of the uses of estar para followed by the infinitive. We were talking about the affirmative. Now let's look at the meaning when it is used in the negative. So when it is used in the negative, estar para followed by the infinitive means to not be in the mood. No estar para infinitivo. A synonym would be no tener ganas de. So this is how we would express that we're not in the mood for something. If we're in Spain, of course, we would use estoy por, because estar por means to be in the mood for something, right? But in all the other Spanish-speaking countries, we would say no estar para infinitivo. But not is you can use nouns afterwards, because I'll show you here. No estoy para bromas. I am not in the mood for jokes. Broma would be a noun. So we don't always have to use an infinitive here, right? We can use a noun. That is the same thing as saying no estoy para escuchar bromas. I am not in the mood to listen to jokes, or to listen to jokes, right? Susana no está para ir de compras. Susana is not in the mood to go shopping. Same thing. Susana no tiene ganas de ir de compras. No tengo ganas de escuchar bromas. Good. And finally, it can also mean to not be in the right position or to not be able to do something. Okay, let's see what that means. No estoy para... Let me let that vehicle pass. Perdón. No estoy para rechazar la oferta. I am in no position to refuse the offer. When I say that I am in no position, that means that my circumstances will not allow me to refuse the offer. So let's say I'm living in poverty and someone offers me a job, but the job is actually not very lucrative, okay? I can say no estoy para rechazar la oferta. Even though the offer is not good, I am in no position to refuse it because my financial situation is so deplorable and so my financial situation is so deplorable that I must accept whatever I am offered or whatever I am given, even if I think that the offer is not ideal. Okay? So this is what I mean by when I say I am in no position to refuse. It will be the same thing as saying I cannot refuse because of my circumstances, because of where I am situated in life, figuratively speaking, not literally, right? Ellos no están para juzgarte. They cannot judge you. Same thing. They are in no position to judge you because maybe you made a decision that some of them had to make at some point. Therefore, they are in no position to judge you because they understand. So that's another use of estar, well, in the negative. No estar para infinitivo. It means to not be in the right position or to not be able to do something, right? And as you see from these two examples, it depends on circumstances, ¿ok? Eso es todo por hoy. Espero que ustedes hayan entendido las diferencias. Muchas gracias por ver como siempre y hasta pronto.